Hi everyone, it's Adrian Leah. This is going to be a reading. I am here and there will be some more updates on what I'm doing and what I have to do. So you get to see or hear about the ACU or Adrian's Cinematic Universe. I will have to house sit for a period of time. So I have to go to my parents' house in Las Vegas. And it won't be for a long period of time, but it's January right now, so it shouldn't be too warm. I'm definitely a cold weather baby, so I love the cold. And I am hoping that I could still wear, and I know that I can knit while I'm there, but there's some things that I'm working on. I literally have a project in front of me that I've been knitting on because I had this project for a while and then I put it away for a little bit and now it's back out. But I'm gonna do this reading. Seems really fitting. The bottom of the deck is the Ten of Wands. I was literally just thinking about everything that I have in my storage unit. I think I'm just gonna put in my bedroom when I'm there. So the word that I was getting is like revival. I don't know. It kind of feels like an energy of being like on hiatus or kind of like disappearing from the world or like people's lives and all of a sudden like popping up again. Or maybe there's just memories and almost reliving certain thoughts or like working through the things that you've experienced in life and kind of answering those questions. And sometimes we get confronted with other instances that may link to, or it's a situation that it's almost like you've been in that type of situation before. And now we're thinking, I think it's mainly trying to get out of those types of cycles. And sometimes we like to draw in certain energy or people or things that we have in our life. And it's interesting because a lot of these times we don't even want those types of things in our life. Say if you have, and this is just an example, like you have a parent that's like an alcoholic, and of course you don't want to have certain experiences that you may have gone through that was and still is difficult because it kind of replays or it sticks with you in certain ways. Um, but then you go into another situation. It's not like you get, I mean, maybe like there's getting remarried and everything, but uh, more on lines of like having certain types of situations that pop up again that you just like bring in. Is it seems like those types of things that we don't want to have, and it's almost like fighting against the grain of familiarity. I know that there's this one of my cousins, um his family, it wasn't like a good situation, so his dad was not good, and he was just a person that would not show up for the family a in that type of way. And I'm saying it from an outsider's perspective because I don't want to. Well, I wasn't part of the situation, but or situations, but just to say that it's like those types of moments where he wasn't faithful to his wife, and then his, well, my cousin would might have been like, well, he was like still awake, and then he would kind of look where the hallway is and to see like his dad like hooking up with somebody else, and um at times like he would, him, my cousin, and his mom would like go to different strip clubs to like try to find where the dad was, and there was um I don't know if they ever proved it, or like, I mean, I don't know if they wanted to, or like there wasn't really a need to at that point, but there's also the thought of like, or what was maybe happened, that his dad got like his mom's best friend pregnant. So it was just, I know that was like very like specific instances, um and for these readings sometimes I always think I'm thinking like why, if I should bring it up, or if a person would be okay. And some things, like I know like some people are like, would I, they wouldn't want me to bring certain stuff up, but I also feel, and I've mentioned, that when you read, you give messages, you give clarity, and in ways there's justice to these readings. And for people that have experienced these things and um, maybe didn't have support on their side, I'm not saying that this does so much, but it it brings it to the light in a way where you're not just, it's not just in you to cause more pain, if that makes sense. So, and the question that kind of comes up is like, It's almost like energy from the past just it creeps up again. And it's like almost asking that thing that comes out of the closet, like, what do you want from me? Like, why do I keep having this same memory? It might not be a bad memory, but it could be a nightmare. Like, it's like almost reliving the same nightmare over and over and over again. Um, there is energy of like taking power back because you have how to overcome the obstacle is the King of Wands. And you could say, well, it's linked to the Leo energy. It's a it's a fire court card. So I'm not reading signs too much, but it has the energy of like beast mode or being in um a mode where you're not going to let certain things hold you back anymore. And there seems to be a lot of heavy stuff. And sometimes, like, I go through those things where I think about certain memories and what it means. And I think I go through that a lot. Um, you're ever on the phone with, like, my best friend when she's talking to me, a lot of the stuff that we say is basically a lot of the conversations that we talk about over and over and over again. And I feel that it's kind of our way of just letting it out of our system. Like some people, I feel they might get bored with our type of conversation, but I feel like we have that compatibility. She's also an air sign, and um, I feel like the way that we try to talk through things and move forward with life is um like the spectrum is there. And with the Ten of Wands, it's almost like if you're having a conversation with yourself or with other people or with your guides and or maybe God source and saying um or maybe they try to give you certain hints or ideas or messages on the same thing, and then you think and you're like, I could give myself these answers or some clarity, but honestly, like it just or what could have been, it just doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. And then maybe your guides are like, and why doesn't it matter? Because you have the Ten of Wands here, and it's like it's almost looking and peering into you and saying you're trying to move forward and yet you have some heavy ass stuff that you keep bringing forward, and it might hold you back. It might make it harder for you to move. So if you don't move on from this or if you don't let certain things go, even like sometimes when you feel at fault for something, you might have that energy. That could be a part of it. And it's like, why do you let certain things, why do you hold on to certain things that you don't even want to hold on to? So if you do yourself a favor and let certain things go, it makes the load a lot easier to carry and um maybe you might even start enjoying your life more if you do. So the Ten of Wands just has that peering energy that kind of goes into, would you call it Akashic records? It goes into certain memories and records and um these dates that we just keep with us because somehow, like, if we let these things go, if we don't bring certain things to light or there's no justice in it, then I can't forget it because it needs to stay with me. I need to remember all these things that I felt and said and did to hold on to it, to see if I could try to turn back time and make it so um, things get better. And in this type of world, I don't know, it doesn't seem like those things can happen in that way. And it's not saying it in like a demeaning way, but it kind of says it in a way where it's okay because maybe it's like the universe just saying, we want to see you happy. So if you keep lugging this load with you, it's gonna make it hard. And it's almost like you're chaining yourself to something that you don't even want to be chained to. So the presence is presence. Oh my God. Maybe it is presence. A lot of fire energy because this is associated with Sagittarius too. This the Temperance card. I feel like it's unassuming too because I mean for me, I don't completely connect it with Temperance and Sagittarius in that way. It's such an angelic card, and honestly, like in this reading, since we think about there's just so much fire here, um, maybe we're trying to burn certain things down. It's almost like one of those, is it like a bushfire? I don't, I'm hoping I'm saying it correctly, where, um, all the greenery burns and then there's new growth afterwards. And there is more of a purpose for that. In the past, there's the Five of Cups. And for this one, it's like the words that I'm getting, it's like it's not as deep as it seems. And me bringing up my playlist is just kind of like my manifested baby at this point because it's been such an enjoyable experience to add all the songs, not all the songs that I listen to, because I try to you don't have to listen to it like in the order that it's in. I don't do that a lot. You could shuffle it, but if you were to listen to it in order, I'm thinking like I do want to, and in general, I want to have the listener go through like a journey of it. And there's just a lot of intensity and momentum. More than one climax, there's a lot of climaxes. Goes into a dip, chill, relax mode, and then um, fire energy, fire energy, fire energy. Um, Human tornado, pure chaos, and fun, inviting, kind of childlike, exciting. And it's just kind of like a storyline of what could be. Because that's a lot of times like what we listen to and we internalize it and it makes us feel and think certain things. Um, this playlist is mainly specific categories of music. And again, I don't put all the music there. Like I try to build the momentum with the ones that I add, and I might put them in another. I think I'm going to put it in another order at some point, but right now it's just been kind of fun to put it in. Put the songs in with the Five of Cups. It kind of reminds me like it's not as deep as it seems. It's like um part of the lyrics for one of the songs, and it is honestly like one of those sad type of suicidal songs. So, um, I mean, a lot of these songs were like part of my journey. So, um, of course, you don't have to listen to that one because I have a lot of other ones in there, but it just it feels a little comforting, and that could be another reason why you bring up certain things into your life because you understand the type of pain that gives you comfort in that way. And it might not be pain, it might be something that is good. And it could be the way that when you grow up and the things that you experience, and if you get so many of these happy, maybe accepting type of energy from your environment, that might be like the continuing energy that just you have in your life because that's what you know how to bring in, that's what's familiar to you, or what, even if you didn't bring it in, something that was already exposed to you. But if you have a lot of, not saying not everyone goes through something, but if there's like hardship or a lot of pain in certain areas, sometimes we just really lean into that. And it's not a bad thing. Sometimes it can be a way that we cope through it, especially if we have to be in that situation for whatever reason. You might be able to get out of that situation. It depends. But there's just something about knowing what pain is and bringing it with you. Um, the overall energy is the Knight of Cups. This feels like it's a carrying energy from like maybe the Page of Cups because it just has it feels like it feels really dreamlike and kind of it can be um the words that I was getting like spiritual awakening because it kind of feels like heavenly or um maybe angelic because there's guidance from the Temperance card that there is a specific thing that will help you detach or overcome what you held on to for so long. There can be something that just breaks it, and it almost like takes off those um like the rose colored glasses types of things where we see it one way until you see the reality of what it actually is. Um, and hopefully it's not one of those realities where you see it when it's down to like the finish line, and it might not be a good type of finish line. Obstacle is earth energy, both Virgo, with the Hermit and the Knight of Pentacles. So I'm feeling like commitment or following through, but it doesn't even seem like somebody doesn't want to follow through. But there can be, um, with the Hermit card, it does give the idea of we're going into our own journey of finding things out. There is a lot of um, types of knowledge that you get that's linked to the Hermit card. It's like a journey within the journey. Um, it has that type of embodiment because the Hermit is part of the Major Arcana, and the Major Arcana is the Fool's Journey. So it's like buckling down, and that might be something that might not feel like the most pleasurable thing to do because there might have been energy of like inconsistency. And it's almost like changing your routine of life, of being, if you were consistent, it might be consistent in another way. Um, or it might be trying to help other people with their own commitments, or maybe even answering the call to for your responsibilities and to be committed to being that problem solver or solving like the case that has been open and maybe even abandoned for a couple of years until somebody brings it back to life. Oh my god, comes up again. Silent Hill. Um, one of those types of things where the case was closed for so long, and sometimes, and specifically with that movie, it was like because of the dark history that maybe the town wanted to leave behind, or that like really demonized, or is it bastardized it? I never know how to say that, but bastardized that town. I think that's it. Because of what was unleashed after the fuckery that happened in Silent Hill. So it almost feels as if you pick up from that point. It almost feels like a video game too. I mean, there's video games for this, but um, and you pick up at the most like fucked up point, and sometimes you put that shit down because it's just so fucked up. Like it just went haywire, or like the more you tried to fix it, the more fucked up it got. And then now you're just like looking at this and you're like, you don't even recognize it anymore because it's just that fucked up. And now you're like, it seems like it's not going away. And it's in my subconscious and in my memories, and I really need to solve this. But the chaotic, fucked up side of me, just like, it's not like I don't want to work on it, but I just, you don't even know like where to go from, like what angle. Like I don't even know what I'm looking at this point. It's just too fucked up to look at. That's what this looks like. I mean, um, but now it's like almost like bringing closure to certain things that really need to be addressed, because I don't know, it's almost like the universe is not tired of giving you like the same thing over and over again, but it really feels like you're trying to unlock this happiness for you. Not with this thing. You gotta do something with this type of situation because I don't know like what type of gremlin you're trying to bring into your future, but like it's just gonna be like creeping in that corner, just staring you down when you just need to do something differently with it. Like it needs to be, you just need to put like a bunch of holy water on it and just keep working on it, or whatever religion you're relating to. Just, I mean, there's rationality and maybe the logistics to it, but um, this part of your messy life that you just keep like piling stuff on, and you look at it every time you walk into the room, it just, and then it never gets cleaned because you don't work on it, and it's already messy as it is. Let me just like throw my jacket on it. Oh, it's still there after 2 weeks because I know that I didn't touch it. Well, it's like kind of already a part of the environment, and it's almost like borderline pollution at this point. So I don't want it there, but I don't know how to problem solve this because it's like piled high now, and I don't want to deal with it. It's going to take so much time, and I don't want to even look at it. let me just put something over it and act like it doesn't exist. We've been doing that for so long. And now we kind of take that cover off and we see the damage that was really done. Because not only was it like clothing, it could have been food that just like rotted or that seeped through because of everything that just spoiled, and it smells, it doesn't, it's not appetizing at all. In the beginning, it was this small thing, and now it's something that we just try to keep in our closet. And it's coming to a point where you can't even close the door because it's too fucked up. So, uh, it's almost like a pray for me moment because you're like, I'm gonna do it. This is my day. This is my year to do it. Because maybe you said that in 2024, I'm gonna get to it. Then you saw how fucked up it was, and you're just like, 2025, that's my year to do this. And now it came up, and now you're like, yeah, actually, it can't be stopped anymore. It turned into a monster. Luckily, it's interesting because you have the High Priestess in the future. So there's a lot of major arcana that happens here. It's going back to two. So I feel that it does relate to certain memories because it, like the obstacle is the Hermit too, it can be unlocking certain points of those points of time. Sometimes we maybe you will get certain answers, or maybe you do know certain answers. I feel that there's going to be more energy of unlocking certain things, of it gets you get confronted with it and you ask this gremlin these questions and it actually talks and you get the answers, and then you start treating it better. You stop treating it like shit because you thought it was like just a pile of like bullshit that just sat in your corner and then you tried to put in your closet, when it's actually manifested into like a living breathing thing because it's yourself, because you're the fucked up one. Sorry. But with the High Priestess in the future, it almost looks like, again, going into beast mode and almost like preparing or like clothing yourself with things that will protect you in this time. Because maybe now you know what you don't like, what you want to stay away from, what brings you joy, what this whole thing is. You see it from different angles because you looked at it for so long. And now you're actually uncovering things. You make it look cleaner so you can see it in a clearer way instead of just like a pile of bullshit that you left and you couldn't even recognize. You're taking a shower and busting out all those cleaning supplies to make sure that um it doesn't stay in there. And apparently, this gremlin has a name, and you're now feeling okay with it, and you're not demonizing it. It's just a regular thing. And sometimes, and it can be like a little far to say, it might be like a fairy in disguise or like an angel in disguise or something just in disguise of something that's so um what you weren't expecting it to be, because you just kept trying to make it, not super trying, but in a way trying to make it worse because it wasn't getting solved. So You also have the Hierophant, another major arcana, with the Knight of Swords. I feel like the Knight of Swords is an energy that's on a mission. And the Hierophant looks like an archetype that has a job. There's that determination and I'm also getting the word delegating, which isn't that surprising because Hierophant, although it has one figure on the card, it can link to like a god source. It could link to another audience. You could be the audience. There's just that interaction of, well, the words that I was getting, like light versus dark, it doesn't have to be that deep, but something that balances one from the other. That specifically. And now it's like looking at something, and since I was talking about God source, like a creation. And sometimes you think about the Empress as a card of creation too. And when we think about what we have created, sorry, it's not pushing it away anymore. It's actually welcoming it and solving those things. It's addressing those things now. So you have the counterpart, the King of Wands with the Queen of Wands, and then underneath that was the Devil card. And then another Five of Pentacles for the future. And it's a combination for sure if you have, but it's nice. It's linked to the Nine of Cups. So, because the Five of Pentacles can link to toxins in the environment. It's something that really looks closely at what our environment actually looks like and where we're actually at. Because the Four of Pentacles before the Five of Pentacles, obviously, um, it might have been piled to the ceiling of all the stuff that we've had. It is a card that it really is associated with resources, and it can be people, it can be things. It's something that is more tangible. And when we go to the Five of Pentacles, we realize maybe we gotta clear this shit out because some of this stuff is making me sick. I feel like that's what the Devil card is in here. And you have the Devil with the Temperance because the Temperance is like an angelic energy. And since it's fire, I'm really linking it to Seraphim, the fiery angel, if you're looking at different categories of angels. And the flaming angel. And it's almost like there. Because the Devil is almost like, you think you could emit fire. I can make fire too. I used to be one of you. But it just turned into something else. And in reality, it might not have even been what this temperance was. It might have been like something that was molded, or a creature that was adopted in. It just seems like there's something that took its place of what that temperance card was supposed to be. Like you could be that fiery angel, and the devil card tried to make it creeps in and make it into something that it's not. For some reason, I was thinking about my spiel with ATP. Um, when you think about having coffee and energy, and um, like caffeine has a similar molecular structure to ATP and adenosine triphosphate. And it's like you're putting this into that mold that needed something else. And at first, your body doesn't recognize it, but after a while, it's not stable there because that's not what it was meant for. That's not what was meant to be there. So it starts to unbind itself, and then you get all these effects from your coffee because it wasn't giving you energy. It was giving you fake energy that you thought was energy. That's what it feels like. It feels like fake shit that you tried to put in there. It's like you tried to buy something and it's like a knockoff of something else. And it can't even be with people too. Like I mean, when it's with, you know, wands matched up with the devil card, it just feels like something that was supposed to be something, but it actually turned into something else, or it was that to begin with. And there's looks like it can be dandelions like on the card. It just like with dandelions, one of the more resilient plants, and um, weeds are powerful plants because they're packed with a lot of stuff that is nutritious for us because it sucks everything out of the soil, and it's hard for other things to grow around it because it's taking everything. That devil is taking everything. So it's like an everyday thing. I feel like this is not going to be just a one and done type of cleanup because it's piled high. It's that thing in your closet that now you can't close the door because there's just too much shit in there. Um, but I feel like with this interaction with the devil card and even the high priestess and the temperance card, there is a reveal that in it this could even link to like abuse too, that brings it to light because now there's like an awareness, and now like there's I feel like there's like an environmental awareness too of the devil that was like just lurking there, that maybe was there, and people thought it was like an everyday occurrence. People thought that this person, if it's a person, was just um this way, but behind closed doors turned out to be something completely different. It's like bringing it to the light. Um, and even when it's not completely brought to the light, I feel like if you know, that's completely okay. It's kind of, I feel that this time around, when I went back to my hometown, it was a little different in a way where I wasn't seen as much of a demon child. And it really brought to light some of the experiences that I had growing up. And so I feel like there's more support on my end of the things that were revealed of what happened in childhood. And um, I feel like there's like, for some reason, something was just like coming to me continuously Um, just saying like it's not your fault. It's not your fault. And I'm like that's what even in the beginning when I was saying like it doesn't fucking matter. But I think one of the things that was good is that you didn't try to based off of everything that maybe people said or did to you. You didn't try to demonize yourself in that way and kind of make those things reality. I mean, at that point, I didn't really care that much, but it's kind of like those things where they understand more and it kind of just highlighted and exposed what was lurking there. And with the high priestess, I think that that's one of the most important things that you could get, especially if you're going through certain situations, specifically like hardships or abusive situations, things that are painful, that there is that light. And part of that light might be like that nurtures you is knowing that um, that awareness, that exposure, that clarity, especially for yourself. And it is good for other people too. And sometimes it makes the situation easier and tending the garden isn't as hard. The card that I didn't talk about is the Nine of Cups. So in the future, with the High Priestess and Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Cups, I feel like once you clear certain things, it just becomes your happy space. It just becomes a place where you can sleep peacefully or you can do things peacefully or you don't feel that stress that's lurking in the corner. It really um and it can link to like cloud nine energy, so that can be more of an angelic experience too. There's just something that's spiritually cleansing at this time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in another video.